The third and final podcast for Chapter 1 goes through the steps in the marketing planning process and the marketer's toolbox known as the 4 Ps. As was mentioned in the very first slide of the podcast, marketers follow a step-by-step process to develop a marketing plan. And this process is the heart of Chapter 2. Essentially, the first step in developing a marketing plan is to analyze the marketing environment. This is sometimes called a situation analysis. And marketers use the acronym SWOT, Strengths, Weaknesses, Opportunities, and Threats, for this first step. As they develop the marketing plan, marketers will then need to decide on a particular market segment, which is a focal group of target customers that they will serve. The market segmentation process is critically important, and it will be discussed in Chapter 7. Marketers also must select the marketing mix, and the marketing mix is comprised of what is called the 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, and place. And as we go through the semester, we'll have between 1 and 2 chapters to cover on each of these elements of the marketing mix. What you'll see here is that these 4 Ps are like pieces of a puzzle, that they must be optimized to fit together in a very logical and consistent manner. Before I talk about that synergistic fit, let me define each of the 4 Ps with a little more detail than Chapter 1 gives you. The first P is product, and I've already defined product in the second podcast for Chapter 1, so rather than repeating that here, I would like you to go back and make sure that you understood all of the aspects on this slide. Essentially, a product is comprised of 3 layers. At the center of the bullseye, if we conceptualize a product as concentric circles, like you're shooting a bow at a particular target, a bow and arrow, the innermost circle is what is the customer need being met. For example, when a customer buys a car, they might be meeting their transportation needs, but we also know that customers oftentimes are satisfying psychosocial needs in terms of their own self-image. So the customer need being met is at the center of these 3 layers of the product, and there can be multiple needs being met, and those needs can vary by segment. At the next layer of our concentric circles is what marketers call the actual product. And the actual product is comprised of the features and the attributes that customers use to evaluate one car versus another car, one product versus another product. So as I mentioned earlier, some of these features and attributes could include things like miles per gallon, consumer reports reliability, safety aspects, warranty, etc. And these features or attributes don't have to be objective. They can be subjective as well in terms of fits my self-image. The third aspect of the product, the outermost concentric circle, is called the augmented product. And essentially, these are the services and support that companies provide to customers after they've purchased the product. And that is the key aspect here. It's after sales service and support. which clearly is more relevant for certain product categories than others. For examples, marketers differentiate between durable goods, goods that last a long time, many years, such as a car, versus non-durable goods. Non-durable goods are oftentimes called consumables, and they're things you might get at the grocery store and need to replenish week after week. Product managers in a company are responsible not only for defining the feature set of the product and how that product is positioned in terms of the needs being met, but they also make decisions about the brand name, the logo, the packaging, and these all fall within the realm of marketing. And in fact, if you look back at one of the very first tables, Table 1.1, Careers in Marketing, what you'll see is that brand management is a career in marketing. We'll be covering careers in marketing as we go through this semester, along with the kind of education that you need for those careers, as well as the salaries that you might earn in each position in marketing, as well as some of the benefits and drawbacks of the job. And if you're particularly interested in careers in marketing, remember we do offer at the University of Montana a spring semester 1-credit course called Careers in Marketing. You can see your marketing professor if you're interested in learning more about that. The second P is price. Again, you can review this material from the prior slides in terms of value and market position, as well as the quantitative aspects of how price contributes to the company's earning profit. The most important aspect of price that I'd like to stress at this introductory level is that price is critical to positioning the product in terms of how customers perceive it. And if a company is going to want a premium position in the market, they can't have the lowest price because those essentially are inconsistent with each other. The third P is promotion, and promotion has its own toolkit. Marketers call this the promotion mix. Because the promotion mix has to be very carefully coordinated, it also goes by the name Integrated Marketing Communications. And in fact, some businesses do not have an advertising department, for example. They have a MarCom department because they understand marketing communications is much more than just advertising. The promotion mix includes all the tools that companies and organizations might use to educate, inform, and persuade customers about their offering in the marketplace. Of course, this does include the highly visible aspect of marketing, which is advertising. Ads in both traditional media, such as newspapers, magazines, radio, TV, outdoor billboards. But we see a lot of advertising today on the internet, whether it's pay-per-click ads on Google, called search ads, whether it's ads on Facebook, or even ads through mobile devices, whether they're mobile apps, use of QR codes. All of these aspects of advertising are critical for you as tomorrow's business leaders to be aware of. The promotion mix also includes public relations. Public relations generally are the strategies and tools companies use to create goodwill. This might include things like partnering with nonprofit causes. For example, when Herberger's has a partnership where you bring in jeans that they donate to nonprofits in exchange for giving you a deal on new jeans. But this could also include publicity, where publicity is defined as articles or news stories about a company and its products. So anything that appears in the news, newspapers, magazines, the Wall Street Journal, 60 Minutes. All those fall under the area of publicity, and those are the job of the PR manager to get those stories. Personal selling is another very visible aspect of marketing that has both positive and negative connotations. And one thing we'll learn through the course of the semester is that professional selling, think of a company that sells medical devices to hospitals, or a company that sells software to businesses, or a company that sells auto fleets to GE. Personal selling that happens in the B2B context can be an extremely rewarding and very lucrative career. Sales promotion is another aspect of the promotion mix, and this includes any deals or incentives to get customers to buy now. Coupons, rebates, sweepstakes, contests, all of these things that give you an enticement to buy today in the short term. There are lots of other tools in the promotion mix. Product placement on movies and TV shows, new media, which captures the idea of the internet and mobile technologies, content marketing, which is a topic called thought leadership, where marketers are designed to become experts in their customers' business and help them stay on the cutting edge. This is a very exciting field of marketing, and all marketing students will take a full semester course in integrated marketing communication as part of their degree. And for students that are interested in this, the fact is, no matter what area of business you're going into, whether it's accounting to work in a Big Four accounting firm, whether it's consulting to work at PricewaterhouseCoopers, whether it's finance to be a financial analyst or to sell real estate, all business people need to be experts in how they're going to create awareness about what they offer to their customers. So I strongly recommend that class as an elective, even for non-marketing majors. The fourth and final P is place, where place is defined as the availability of the product at the desired time and location that the customer wants it. So when you think of this, you can think of it in terms of how the product is physically delivered to the customer in the case of a tangible product. And in the case of a service, it's how does the service provider actually perform the service for the customer. And the best tool that's used to understand the place strategy, also called channels of distribution or the distribution channel, essentially is to diagram a supply chain. So let's look at a supply chain for the auto industry. On the downstream side of the supply chain, which is the right-hand side, we have the customers who buy the product. And we know that some customers buy cars for personal use, that's a B2C use, but a lot of cars are purchased by businesses to use in running their business. For example, most professional salespeople have access to a company car. That would be a B2B purchase of a car. Or if you're a taxi company, you buy the taxi to use in your business. Most of us buy our cars through local dealers. We can also buy online. There's a big push for online sales right now. If you want to buy an electric vehicle, Tesla, they've had problems getting dealerships established because of very restrictive franchise laws in various states, and so they sell their cars online. Then we have the car manufacturers who essentially run their business, and we've gone through the value chain previously, how they source their goods, which would be the left-hand side. Upstream supplies include the raw materials, components, and production equipment that the manufacturers have to buy to produce their goods. And those car manufacturers often also buy services. For example, they hire an ad agency. They hire a market research company. In the supply chain, the flow of dollars goes upstream to the left, and the provision of goods and services flows downstream to the right. Let's back up for 1 minute. Place essentially then talks about how do we get this product made and delivered to the customer. Note that this use of the word place does not mean marketing the place, such as marketing the state of Montana. And this idea of place is very different than the value chain in the sense that the value chain is internal to a company, but the supply chain traces the flow of product from upstream suppliers through all the companies who have a touch point with the product until it gets in the hands of the consumer. These are the 4 P's, and each is a piece in a puzzle that must fit together in terms of consistency and synergy. So when you think of Godiva chocolate, we normally think of very expensive, rich, high-quality chocolate. Now, if you're from England, you might think of Cadbury here. If we compare that to Hershey's chocolate or Mars chocolate, for example, my partner Michael was asking just the other day, did I think M&Ms were really chocolate? And I said, no, they're candy. If we talked about the 4 P's here, the ingredients of Godiva versus Hershey are different, their prices are different, their distribution channels are different, and even the messages that they use to create their market position. One is fun and playful, one is very elegant. You could also come up with your own examples, but the idea is marketers have to think about how these 4 P's fit together synergistically in a puzzle, because if you want to be the premium supplier, you can't have a cheap price. They're just incompatible and create confusion for customers. There are a wide variety of marketing careers to be found, and especially for all of the accounting, IT, and finance students in this class, as well as communication, tourism and recreation, and journalism students, you will find that understanding marketing is critical to success in any field of business, and in fact, in almost any domain. Marketing is kind of the glue that holds things together. And we'll cover more in detail on each of these topics through the semester.